All right. And this is Nicole Wetlock with eCom Sellers. And this is part 2 of the e-commerce planning session. So I would like for you to pull out your notebook and or worksheets that you completed or filled out yesterday so that we can start from the list that you created yesterday. So we're going to move forward with that. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we did talk about yesterday. We talked about a lot of stuff. We're going to recap that in just a second. But one of the things that I did talk about specifically was some of your operations activities. We're going to use the information around your operations activities and maybe some of your own personal stuff to begin the process of creating your goals and your plan for 2025. So to get started for 2025, the biggest thing about anything that we're going to be doing is learning how to get better focused, knowing what we're working towards. What is it that we're trying to achieve? What are we trying to get done? So, and let me just also make sure I am unmuted. Sorry. Yep, I am. Okay, good. Okay. Done. All right. Let me do that. Okay. So for 2025, you got to make some decisions. What is, if you're going to continue e-commerce, that's great. If you're not going to continue e-commerce, what are you going to do? And even if you're not going to continue e-commerce, you're going to do something different. Like if you're going to start another business or you're going to gain knowledge in a different area or you're going to launch something else, you still have to ask yourself those similar questions, not the exact same questions for 2025. So what's your selling platform that you're going to add to your existing strategy for 2025? If you've been selling on one platform all the time, maybe in 2025, you add a new platform. Okay. And you need to put together a plan to start learning that. If you're going to start doing print on demand, maybe the first month for quarter 1, you start learning a little bit about print on demand. In quarter 2, you start getting better at Canva, and quarter 3, or, in the first quarter, you spend the first month of the quarter understanding print on demand and the different platforms. You spend the second month in the same quarter learning how to use Canva. You spend the third month in the same quarter creating your first listing, or either setting up or connecting your accounts so that you can send your designs over to a print on demand provider. And maybe that's how you gradually, slowly, progressively over time start incorporating another platform, maybe even another method of e-commerce. So what is your method of e-commerce going to be for 2025? Are you going to apply for some wholesale accounts? Are you going to apply for some liquidation accounts? Are you going to establish an EIN? These are all things that, again, you want to put these things down if that's your plan for 2025. What's your shipping strategy going to be? Are you going to continue to ship yourself? Are you going to continue to outsource? With all of the costs being what they are, you need to keep that in mind for 2025. What is your strategy going to be to get this product to the customer if they buy it from you? Okay. And if you're going to send it into a fulfillment center, whether it's Walmart's or Amazon's, again, you have to factor that into your profit margins for 2025. Okay. What's your strategy for sourcing going to be for 2025? Do you have one? If you don't, that's one thing you want to put on your list, that you need to establish one. Are there stores that are going to be closing in 2025? Well, we already know of some that closed in 2024, and a lot of it is shocking to me, but that means that there's a lot of great inventory out in the liquidation space, and or a lot of great inventory that you can potentially use or source for the type of business you do. And maybe you're not going to source any inventory. Maybe you're going to be creating something in 2025 that you want to sell. Okay. And are there opportunities for clearance? Since this is the end of the year, going into the new year, there's a lot of stuff that's already on clearance for Christmas. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to continue to go on clearance for the winter time, because before you know it, they're going to have the spring stuff out. It's insane how fast they do it, but that is a fact. So is there anything that you want to grab at these discounted prices, in some cases below wholesale, so that you can resell it for next year, or just go ahead and list it now? And what tools do you want to incorporate into your business in 2025? Maybe you're not going to, maybe you are. Maybe you want to take advantage of some of these AI tools. Maybe you want to learn some of the new features and functionality for some of the tools that have been rolled out on the platforms you're already selling on. You just have done your business and run your business a certain way for so long, and now you're ready to incorporate something new, something different. So you got to start putting together sort of your game plan, your strategy for 2025. So when we're game planning for 2025, we're going to go ahead and begin the process of starting some of these exercises. Hopefully you've been writing this whole time, but if you haven't, I do want you to just create one sheet of paper and write down 12 things that you want to learn in 2025. That doesn't mean you're going to learn all 12, and it doesn't mean that the list will actually be 12. Before we're all said and done, the list may actually just be 3 of those 12, because you're going to determine which one is the most important and is going to make the most impact in your business. But do a brain dump of about 12 things that you feel like you want to learn in 2025. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be about your business. Maybe it is something personal. Maybe it has nothing to do with your business. Maybe you want to scale up your knowledge on AI and AI related tools. Maybe you like creating AI designs, or maybe writing a book using AI. So I have no idea what you're interested in learning. Maybe you want to go to seminary school. I actually know someone that wants to do that. And so it has absolutely nothing to do with business. Because remember, you're putting together a game plan for not just your business, but for your personal life too. And maybe you decided you're going to pivot away from e-commerce, and you're going to do something completely different. So what do you want to learn in 2025, regardless of whether it's business related or not? And I want you to write down 12 things that you want to either improve or implement in your personal life. 12 things that you want to change or that you want to start new. Maybe it's something that you've been working on every single year as you do the assessment of your life in 2024 and 2023, 2022, 2021. And you're noticing the pattern of, I never really made any progress. I'm still in the same place I was in 2019. And I really do want to actually make some progress. So I'm going to focus on one thing, whatever that one thing is, so that I can make progress. Or maybe you're doing just fine and you feel like your growth and your trajectory has been amazing for the last couple of years. Only you will know that. I will not know that, but you have to be honest with yourself. So write down 12 things that you want to improve in your personal life, or implement in your personal life, or change. And then write down 12 things that you want to improve or implement in your business. Maybe you've been rather inconsistent about your e-commerce business and you're ready to get serious about it. Maybe you have been very serious, but you feel like the model that you've been doing is boring, or the model that you've been doing, you've been losing money. And so you want to shift and do something different. Maybe you want to start a business that has nothing to do with e-commerce. So again, write down 12 things. We're going to use that to begin the process of creating our goals. I want you to take those at this point, maybe 36 items. Maybe you didn't have 12 for each one of them. Maybe you only had 5 for each one of them. And I want you to, summarize or connect the ones that are similar or related in some kind of way. Some of them may be similar and some of them may have nothing to do with each other. So if one of the things you wanted to learn how to do is grow a garden in your backyard in 2025, that may have absolutely nothing to do with, starting a baseball collection. Like, if they don't have anything to do with each other. So if they're related or similar in some kind of way, or connected in some kind of way, then connect them on the sheet. So there's a reference. And then I want you to prioritize them, because at the end of the day, trying to implement 36 things in 1 year is not going to happen. Implementing, 10 things in 1 year is probably more realistic or doable. So we're going to trim the list. We want to establish what the priorities are, and we're going to base the priorities on how much this particular thing is either going to bring me joy, it's going to improve my life, it's going to have a positive impact on my business, or maybe it's going to have a positive impact on your family. Whichever ones have the biggest impact on your life or your business, or that are really going to move the needle if you focus on this one thing in the year, those are the ones you definitely want to keep on your list. Now, there might be some that are low-hanging fruit. They're quick and dirty, and so you don't have to spend a lot of time and energy on them. But there may be some that really do require a significant amount of work. It's going to be spread out over a year, and that's fine. Hard work is actually good work. So I want you to look at your list, Figure out which ones you think are going to make the biggest impact on your life, the ones that are going to make the biggest impact on your business, and the rest of them, we're not going to try to tackle all of them. Okay. My business partner reminds me all the time that I am super busy doing a lot of stuff. She's 1000% accurate and correct. And for 2025, my goal is to trim the fat a lot so that I don't get sucked into the vortex of doing 9,000 things. That's my goal, is to stick to the priorities. So trim your list so that you are not overly busy. When you're going through and sort of trimming the list and you start to group together things that make sense, I'm going to walk through a couple of different scenarios using this diagram that I've created here. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Okay. From a personal standpoint, for me, my kids, we've got on the personal side, which is the blue, or spiritual, health, family, fitness, finances, fun, other, household. Okay. What are the things that I feel like are going to move the needle for my family in 2025 or for myself? So one of the things that I said for myself for 2025 is every quarter, I want to do a girls trip or a girls get together or a girls hangout. That's something I hadn't done. Two very important people to me, technically three, left in 2024. One of them left at the end of 2023, and it is a lot to process. And so as I continually remind myself that, okay, I'm not going to be here forever, so I need to put things in place for my kids, but I also need to do some stuff for myself. I'm making a priority that every quarter I'm going to step away, whether it's stepping away for an in-town little get-together and it's maybe a one-day girls trip or a two-day girls trip or girls get-together, or even if it's a half a day, let's go and hang out for half a day. It's just my opportunity to get away, hang out with my girlfriends, spend some time with them, reconnect with them, laugh, and enjoy myself. So that's on my priority list for 2025. That's fairly simplistic because I'm building memories, because all I have now of the people that have left is memories of them. So building more memories is on my list for 2025. For my health, I have goals for first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. First quarter, my goal is to start off with the process of walking for 15 minutes in January, 20 minutes in February, 25 minutes in March. And then in second quarter, starting in April, 30 minutes every single day, 6 days a week to the end of the year. Now, that's a goal and it's on my list. And I'm going to gradually ramp up from January into the rest of the year. And at the end of the day is to improve my lung capacity and to also improve my physical fitness. So that's a goal. So as I step down the list of, my options for personal and my options for business, I have something that falls into every single category. Some of them are consolidated because they're related in some kind of way, and some of them are not. It may be a single goal. It may be just one single goal. So related to listing. So I let one of my VAs go, which is a surprise. So for me, I'm going to get back into the listing game. And that is something I haven't done for a while. So I have to ramp up to be able to do that. So I'm going to start off with 5 listings a day. And then my goal is to move it up to 15 or 20. But I'm just going to start with 5. And I'm going to start that in first quarter and let that be me building up that habit of consistency. Then get to second quarter and move it from 5 to 10 and then 10 to 15 to 20 for fourth quarter, so that I'm gradually building up that momentum. Am I going to always am I going to drop having a VA forever? No, I haven't decided on that yet. But right now, my VA is not working with me. And that's just recent, like this week. So that's something that's going to be new. And that's on my goals for 2025. Maybe you have a goal of creating listings yourself. Maybe you're doing print on demand. Maybe you're doing something else. So figuring that out. Another one of my goals for 2025 is to do more sourcing from liquidations. So my goal is to source from a liquidation at least once a week, whether it is a small pallet or a big pallet, just source from liquidation. Another one of my goals is I've got a lot of stuff in my house. I want to empty one tub a week doing live sessions and whatnot. Again, at the end of the day, I'll be able to measure that. So what are your goals for each one of these blocks? And how are they tied to your business side, and also how are they tied to your personal side? What are those things for each one of the quarters, establishing at least one goal? So I got some examples of, doing product research in first quarter. I'm doing product research for potential products for third quarter in first quarter. Yeah. And I'm sourcing products for second quarter in first quarter, and I'm listing products for second quarter in first quarter. Okay, so those are now I will tell you, those are established routines that I already have. So it's sort of cheating, but that makes sure that my listings are up before we even get into second quarter. It also makes sure my listings are up before we get into the change in seasons, because each quarter has a season. So it makes sure that I'm always ahead of the curve. The goal is to always, when possible, create your listings anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks before whatever the event is that's coming up actually happens, and to source those products anywhere from 12 to 15 weeks before whatever is coming up actually happens. So an example would be Valentine's Day. So if I were sourcing for Valentine's Day, I would have sourced, already done my research 12 to 16 weeks before Valentine's Day got here. That's the first thing. Second is to actually make sure my listings are live at least 8 weeks prior to Valentine's Day. So then that way, again, your listings are up, people can find them, people can buy products from you. So continuing that tradition of the 4 to 8 weeks, and sometimes it's 4 for different reasons. I always try to stick with 8 when possible, and 12 to 16 weeks for the purchasing the products or doing the product research, doing the keyword research, and all of the other stuff. So I have it broken down my quarter. If I were to take every single one of the items that are on the previous screen, I would have, there's roughly about 9. So I might have under here, instead of just having 3 listed, I might have 1 line for each one of those. 9 things in quarter 1, 9 things in quarter 2, or even 18, but that's too many. But 9 things in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 that I can focus on, that I'm going to invest energy and time into, so that I know where my time and energy is focused when it comes to my business, and I know where my time and energy is going to be focused when it comes to my personal life, my family, my kids. So all of those are sort of goals, establishing the goals. And typically, a goal is an object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. So an aim or desired result. That is what a goal is. Some goals, you definitely want to make sure that you have process goals. So process goals are, I'm working in my business every single day for 2 hours after dinner. So that is a process related goal that I am, and it's also time. It's like I'm specifically focused at that time. That's one of those things where I'm like, okay, let your family and friends know I am not available from this time to this time because I'm focused on my business at that time. And then I'm focused on specific activities and or actions during that window as well. So what am I doing in those 2 hours? What is exactly am I committing time to? So maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm focused on product research. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I'm focused on creating listings, and also I may also be focused on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, sending shipments, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sending shipments. So what are the activities I'm engaging in during those windows? Performance-driven goals are, I'm working towards a specific result at the end of the day. So maybe the goal is I want to create 100 new listings. I got to reverse engineer that. I got to back into the 100 new listings. So if I'm saying I want to create 100 new listings in a month, how many listings is that in a week? That's roughly going to be about 25 listings per week. So at the end of the week, if I'm created 25 listings and I do it 4 more times, I will hit the 100. If I'm working towards 100 new listings a week, then again, how many am I doing per day? If I'm working 5 days a week, then I've got to make sure that I'm creating 20 listings every single day. So I've got, again, taking the math, dividing it by the number of days I'm going to be working, if that's 5, and saying I'm going to create 20 listings. That is a performance-related goal. An outcome-related goal. Outcome-related goals are, I want to make at least $5,000 in sales in a month, or $5,000 in sales in a week. If that's the case, how many sales per day do I need to get in order to reach that $5,000 goal? So again, you have to do the math. If I'm shooting for $5,000 in sales in a month, I got to divide that by 4. That's the average. It's not always 4 even, but we'll go with that. So that means that I need to make $1,250 in sales a week in order to reach $5,000 a month. And the daily amount, if I'm doing 5 days a week or 6 days a week, gotta do that math. Hold on. I'm doing it in my head. So that's going to be roughly, what is that? 12, 4, 300. Nope. 12. Trying to do easy math, simple math. Well, if I'm working 4 days a week, it's roughly about $325, $312, roughly, if I was working 4 days a week. So I want to get 4 days a week where I have over $300 in sales. I hit the $1,200. So again, that's an outcome-related goal. Measurable goal. So it means that you identify exactly what you want to see, hear, feel, whatever, to reach that goal. So a measurable goal. The one that we had that was performance related is also a measurable goal. And, there is a feeling that I will have, or I will see a certain amount, or I will see money in my bank account for sure. So something you may see, hear, or feel when you reach that goal. That's the emotion that you get from the results. Same thing with losing weight. So if one of my goals was to lose 20 pounds at the end of a month, my clothes are probably going to fit maybe a little bit looser. I may be a little bit less winded. I may actually sleep a little bit better. So there's going to be a result or an outcome from that. And then we're going to get into SMART goals in just a second, because I actually did a breakdown for SMART goals. So what is a plan? A plan is a detailed proposal for doing and achieving something. And it's also an intention or decision about what one is going to do. We are putting together a game plan for 2025. What is the intention of what you're going to do? What do you want to achieve in 2025? As you're thinking through this, always be thinking about intentional goals, intentional plans. What is the result? I want to be intentional with my time, money, and resources, which is what I mentioned in session 1. So what is the intention for 2025? What is my plan for reaching any goals that I established? And of course, intentional means that you're being deliberate. I'm doing something on purpose. I'm not doing it by accident. I'm being very, very intentional with what I'm about to do. So as you're thinking about your goals and you're writing down ideas that might be flowing out of your brain, again, think about how this thing that I just wrote down, am I being intentional about it or not? The reason all of that matters is because there's some horrific stats about goal setting. And they would have you believe that it is not possible to reach any goals because most people, they don't do a combination of things in order to get to achieving the goal. So some stats that may surprise you, maybe it doesn't. It says that 43% of people who set goals are likely to achieve them. That's less than half of you on this call or who are listening to this recording are going to likely achieve your goals. The reason is that in most cases, people don't visualize their goals. They don't review them. Again, they write them down and they walk away from them. They don't come back and revisit them. They don't come back and check to see whether or not they met the goal or not. They don't measure anything. They set unrealistic goals. And so therefore, they may never achieve those goals. People who actually go through the exercise of visualizing the goal that they write, that they are very detailed about their goal, just like God tells us to be detailed in our prayers, you need to be detailed in your goal. You are more likely to achieve your goal if you are detailed in what it is you want to accomplish. If your goal is related to New Year's, there's a bunch of, again, stats around New Year's resolutions versus just regular goal setting. But this is, for me, is not about a New Year's resolution. It is 100% about setting intentional goals for 2025. Okay. So measuring your results, monitoring your results, checking to see where you are at the end of a week or at the end of a month or at the end of a quarter, going back to your goals on a regular basis. That's why vision boards are so important, because again, it reminds you, what am I working towards? If it's in front of me on a regular basis, then it is top of mind more frequently. So an example would be, my son is always thinking about, he wants to buy another car. He already has a car and he wants to buy another car. And so, of course, the car that he wants to buy, now that it's at top of mind, he sees it all the time. It's not as if that there's more of that car out there. It's just his awareness has increased. And so now he sees it on a regular basis. When you are reading your goals on a regular basis, it is top of mind for you when you're not working towards those goals. How is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve goal XYZ, whatever XYZ is? And so when you read it on a regular basis, sometimes it self-corrects your behavior, helps you to self-correct your behavior. Sometimes it helps you to remember what you're working towards, so you stop wasting time and energy on things that are not towards that goal, and you focus on the thing that it is that you're working towards. And when you see your, again, vision board, it helps you bring those things, manifest those things into your reality, into your existence. So monitoring your goals. Again, 40% of people who monitor their goals, they actually achieve the goals. People who set goals are 10 times more successful than those who don't set goals. And writing them out, like writing out the goal, makes all the difference in the world. There are a lot of people who establish goals, but they're not written. So they're not written down anywhere. They're just in my brain, and that's my goal for 2025. And it's in my brain. No, you need to write it down. Written goals, people who have written goals, which I forgot the word written on the first one, 43% more likely to achieve those goals. If the goal is written down and they can also visualize it, they track it, that stat continues to go up and up and up until it gets to 95%. If your goals are written, you visualize your goals, they're very detailed, and you're monitoring the results, you are 95%. You have a 95% chance of achieving that goal. You're in that statistic if you do all of those things. If you don't do any of those things, then more than likely you want to achieve that goal. 65% of people who have an accountability partner achieve their goals. So again, having an accountability partner does matter as well. And if you can get one, that's fantastic. So I want you to know, you're going to hear most people don't ever achieve their New Year's resolutions, blah, blah, blah. There's a reason why. They haven't set anything into motion that's going to help them make sure that they do achieve those goals. So goals versus a process. We can have clear goals. We have goals that we're monitoring. We have goals that we are visualizing. We're tracking the results and all that other stuff. But let me just tell you, if you have a goal that's tied to a process, that's your secret sauce. That's the thing that's going to take you to the next level. So let me give you an example. If one of your goals is to pay your mortgage every single month, all right, that's a goal. All right. We know that if you don't pay your mortgage every single month, then there's a consequence of not paying your mortgage every single month. You have a chance of, having your house be foreclosed on. All right. Speaking from experience, I already know this. So if you don't pay your mortgage, you have a chance of your house being foreclosed on. It is what it is. If you set up an auto pay that comes out the first of the month that sends the payment, that increases your chances of success on that goal. You set up a process through your bank for auto pay. Now the chances of you achieving that goal goes up even higher because it's automated and it's out of your brain. Think about it anymore. You don't have to put any more effort towards it. You just have to make sure there's money in there, but you don't have to think about it anymore. It's going to happen automatically on autopilot and you don't have to do anything. Okay. Versus, oh my God, it's the 15th. And have I paid the mortgage? I don't know. Let me go look. Like now I got to stop what I'm doing. I got to go think about it. I got to make sure there's enough money in the bank account. I got to do all this other extra stuff. So if you put a process in place to automate it, you have a better chance of success. Another example, running a business and maybe social media. So scheduling time to work on your social media and actually scheduling your social media to go out on autopilot versus, you know what, next week we want to put some stuff on Facebook and we're going to put some stuff on Instagram. And so you're just all over the place. You don't know exactly what you're going to be posting. You don't know what it's about. You don't know why you're posting, and you're not being intentional about anything. Versus next month, we're going to put together, I'm making up something. So next month, we're going to have a workshop on basket weaving. In order for us to do the workshop on basket weaving, we need to, at least 3 weeks before that class, we need to start posting on social media. So today we need to go ahead and create the graphics for that. We need to create the email swipe. We need to create the registration page. We need to do all of those things. So the registration page, the email swipe, the graphics. Once the graphics are done, now I can create the registration page. The registration page is going to be automated. Once somebody puts in their name and email address, it will send an automated email to remind them that, hey, you've registered and here's when the workshop is. And then when the workshop happens, it will also send another automated email to the person so that they can go ahead and join the workshop on basket weaving for those people that are interested, okay? Or there might be an email that goes out to your email list. You might also create some events. All of these things are part of processes. So you have an action checklist on whenever I have a workshop. These are all of the activities. Here's a checklist of activities that need to happen in order for us to be able to do this workshop and to get people registered. Okay. If you're random about it, you'll get random results. If you're intentional, you will get actual results. What are the action steps in order for me to achieve the goal of hosting a successful basket weaving workshop? I have to go through some things. In addition to that, have scheduled things that happen on social media. So on Monday, we're going to put this graphic, or we're going to put up this video, or we're going to, whatever we're going to do, we're going to put something on Facebook on Monday, something on Instagram on Tuesday. We're going to be specific about what the schedule looks like. So we have a calendar and it's scheduled and it's automated. And so I can schedule it 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 1 week out, automatic. I can schedule it. Maybe on Sunday, I sit down for 30 minutes and I schedule everything for the rest of the month, all social media for the rest of the month using a tool, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So again, the more you can put in place, whatever your goal is, make sure there's a process tied to it, that will actually help you to achieve that goal. You have a higher success rate. And if it's an automated process, that bumps up your success rate even more, so that you can watch yourself make progress. I remember when I first started in this business, that was the thing. Like, people would say, how do you get so much stuff done? It's because I had so many processes in place. I had processes in place for a whole bunch of different things. And so it just made it look like I was getting a bunch of stuff done, but it was really, everything was sort of automated on autopilot, or I had something set up. So if I had dedicated time to get these things done, I would just use that dedicated time to work on that one thing, get it done. And, you know, I was always being told, I don't know how you get so much stuff done. These days, not so much. I got too many things going on right now. I have too many things going on. But your secret sauce is actually making sure you have a process for any goal that you set up. So if you have any goals, what are the specific actions or steps that you're going to take to achieve that goal? Make sure that when you're writing down goals, you actually have action steps around them. Okay? What's the process? So when we're building goals, building habits and routines, The first one is SMART goals. Okay, I talked about some of the goals before: performance related, outcome related goals, measuring related goals, performance related, all of those. So when we're talking about SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable, relevant or realistic, time-based or time-bound. Okay, so it needs to be specific. What is the goal specifically in detail? And so that goes back to those goal setting stats. When it's detailed, you have a better chance of achieving that goal. So a goal that we had was 100 listings. I think it was 100 listings. We'll go with a week. Okay. So 100 new listings a week. If I'm going with, and maybe my method of e-commerce is retail arbitrage. So that makes it easy, or liquidation, either one. So 100 new listings every single week. And if it's just me, solopreneur, no help, no VA, no nobody else, just me, then I know that I have to have dedicated time to create these listings. Okay. So the clear goal is to create 100 new listings every single week, product listings every single week. And just for grins and giggles, let's throw in 10 print on demand listings. So now we're at 110. So in order for me to achieve that, I have to say, okay, how many days per week am I committing to work? I'm going to commit to work 5 days a week. And if I'm going to commit to work 5 days a week, how many hours am I going to commit to my business? Let's say hypothetically, I'm going to commit to 2 hours. Okay. We're just making up some hypotheticals here. So if I'm going to commit to 2 hours, I got to say in that 2-hour window, in order for me to achieve that, if I am listing 5 days a week, then I have to list 20 20 regular product listings. And if I'm doing print on demand 10, I have to do 2 print on demand designs. And I only have 2 hours to do that. So how do I slice up that time? Well, when you look at 2 hours, if I'm doing something every 10 minutes, I'm creating, and I'm like at an assembly line state of mind at this point. So every 10 minutes, I'm creating a new listing. Well, because I've thrown print on demand in there, which means I got to create 2, is maybe every 9 minutes or every 8 minutes, I'm creating a new listing in that 2-hour window. And that includes creating a print on demand design, uploading that listing, and creating that listing for the print on demand products. In that amount of time, every 8 minutes or every 9 minutes, I can achieve 22 listings a day. So I have to be very specific on how I'm going to do it. What's the process and how am I going to do that? What is it measurable? Yes. Is it measurable? I will know at the end of the day whether or not I did or did not create 22 listings. If I have fallen off, something happened when the kids had to go to the emergency room for something. So I didn't get my 22 today. I got to tomorrow do 44, which means I got to go find 2 extra hours to stay on top of it, or I got to spread out those 2 hours over 4 days and still work my 2 hours plus the hours that were spread out. Or maybe I pick up an extra day, and that week, maybe I was supposed to be off on Saturday and Sunday. And so because I had to deal with an emergency on Monday, I decide that I am going to go ahead and work on Saturday. So maybe I don't have to shift anything, but I can, I'll be able to tell that. Is it achievable or attainable? Is it realistic? Yeah. Can I create a listing in 8 minutes? Absolutely. Will I have pictures? Will I have the keywords? Will I have the title, description, everything done in 8 minutes? Listing is live? Absolutely. I can do that. Okay. The only way I'm going to know that is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have a list for about 30 minutes or an hour to figure out what my averages are. And then once I know my averages, I can work towards, if I'm moving really slow and it takes me 15 minutes to get a listing up, I have to do things that are going to help expedite or speed up my listing speed. I have to do that. I have to figure that out. So what are things that I can be doing to speed up my listing speed? Nicholas, turn that off or leave. Turn it off or leave. So is it achievable? Absolutely. Is it realistic? Yes, it is. It's something that I can do. If I made dedicated time towards it, it is something I can do realistically. All right. And then time bound or time based. So I'm saying I'm committing to 2 hours every single day. I'm committing to 10 hours in a week. I have 1 week to get 100 listings up. So I have a specific deadline that I'm working towards every single week. At the end of a month, I should have 400 listings. So It is very, I'm being very specific. Those are SMART goals. And then as you go beyond SMART goals to make smarter goals, evaluate and readjust. So again, checking in to make sure, do I need to make any adjustments to this goal? Is it realistic? After maybe a month, let's see where I am. At the end of a month, do I have 400 listings up? Or do I just have 350 or 275 or just 200? If I only have 200, I need to evaluate what happened. Why did I really work my 2 hours? Am I listing slower than I thought I was? Do I need to do something to improve my listing speed? And did something happen? Did I have a bunch of emergencies? So do I need to give it another chance in February to see if I can reach the goal? If I reach the goal in February, then what were the lessons learned on what happened in January so that I can put processes in place to deal with emergencies where possible? Sometimes you can't put processes in place to deal with all emergencies, but what can I do so that I reduce my chances of not reaching my goal? Okay. On the other side of this, there is a benefit because, as we know, in most of the platforms, when you're consistently creating new listings, that increases your chances of getting a sale because the platforms like new listings. They like to optimize the listing once it goes live. And so the more listings you put up, the more frequently you're putting them up, they're saying that this is a true seller. So therefore, let me show their listings to other people. Okay. So some of the other things that you could be doing is establishing mini goals. As I said before, one of my goals for 2025 is to go back to walking. So I'm going to start off slow and I'm going to create a mini goal that I gradually work up towards to get to my 30-minute walk. So I may start off in January with 15 minutes every single day, 6 days a week. Then in February, go up to 20 minutes. And then into March, go up to 25 minutes. So that by the time I get to second quarter, I get to April, I am at 30 minutes every single day, or at least 6 days a week at 30 minutes. That's a mini goal, something I can work towards little by little. Maybe one of your challenges is being consistent about listing, going back to listing. So maybe what you start off with is I can create 2 listings every single day, no matter what. So then I go from 2 listings to maybe in week 1, week 2, I'm creating 3 listings. Week 3, I'm creating 4 listings. Week 5, I'm creating 5 listings or whatever. So you're gradually getting to whatever the goal is. If your goal is to get to 5 listings a day, and you want to get to, if you're listing 5 days a week, 25 listings a week, then again, you can do a gradual progression on something that is easily attainable, easy to do. And that way you can work up towards your goal. That's a mini habit or a mini goal. Habit stacking is something that you're already doing. So you're just going to incorporate this particular task, activity, habit that you're trying to build into something you're already doing. So an example would be fixing breakfast in the morning for my boys. If I'm already going downstairs to get tea and I'm already going downstairs to, give them meds, then while I'm there, I may as well go ahead and just throw something into the air fryer at the same time. So it's something I'm already doing, so I don't have to keep going up and down the stairs to get something done. I'm already there. I'm already doing something. I'm just going to incorporate it into the flow of the established routine that I already have. Okay. Or add it to, because I'm already in the same workspace. You may have some habits that you need to revisit. One that I used many years ago, or I've used often, is our morning routine and our evening routine. It used to take me like 2 hours to get my kids to go to bed. It was insane. And so I had to collapse that down to like 40 minutes because we were all over the place. We were like a scatter diagram. Tennis shoes would be downstairs and backpacks would be in another room and something else was left on the porch and nobody fixed their lunch. And it was just all over the place. And so I was like, okay, what rooms are we walking through and what things are we doing so we can collapse this nighttime routine into something that is manageable and it won't make me crazy, because they're going to bed stressed. I'm going to bed stressed. Nobody's getting any sleep. Nobody's relaxed. Let's simplify this process and make it easy for everybody so it just works. It flows a whole lot easier. So again, look at if there are things that you want to improve on your list for 2025. Is there an opportunity to kind of improve it by naturally changing the flow of it and how it works? If it's taking you 2 hours to get your kids to bed and you want to collapse it, what can I change? What can I improve? What can I take away? What can I add to in order to make that happen? Time blocking. This I do a lot of. I do it often. And if you do time blocking, there is some science around, okay, taking that break every 30 minutes. And there's also some science around maximize the maximum number of hours being 4. Now, I sort of agree with that because I do sort of do that midday falling asleep. Me and my business partner have talked about that a couple of times. It's like, oh my God, I fell asleep. In any case, maybe, just maybe, the 4 hours is legitimate. If you're going to do a time block and you're going to work in your business or work on your business, try to break it up into activities that you do maybe every 30 minutes. And so maybe you're going to focus on, I'm just going to give some examples. So if you're not doing e-commerce and you're doing something else, you're running an agency, first, maybe your first 30 minutes is checking in with your team and your VAs just to see how things are going. Your second 30 minutes might be, again, divvying out new work that's come in or going through the email inbox and divvying out the work as needed. Your third 30 minutes might be scheduling any meetings with new clients. Your fourth 30 minutes might be double checking all the social media that's scheduled to go out. Fifth 30 minutes might be double checking any emails that the VAs have created so that those can get scheduled and go out. So you can literally break everything up into potentially 30-minute blocks or 1 hour blocks. So then that way you can have progress throughout the day. Put it in an order that makes the most sense based on how you operate your business. My VAs happen to be in India, so I have to do everything with them at the start of the day. Typically, most people want to have the first part of the day just be quiet for them. And if that works better for you, then do that. I just happen to have a team that's in India, so I got to get up and meet with them first, and then I get quiet time to myself. So figure out what's going to work for you. If you're going to do time blocking when it comes to your e-commerce business, have time block for creating listings or doing product research or sourcing and acquiring products or buying products. Having time blocks so you can ship products, making sure that they get out to the customers. If you're not doing the shipping, just confirming that the shipments went out, that kind of stuff. So making sure you make time to do the activities that are needed for your business, and also time blocks for yourself. If there are things that you haven't been doing or that you said you want to start doing in 2025, that are going to help make your business, make your personal life much better, then again, use a time block. So one of the things that I just started this week with my son, I've been trying to get him to do his therapies. So we're doing it in 30-minute time blocks. And so I said, okay, this is your 30-minute time block. You have to take your supplements and we're going to do there's 2 brain training therapies that he does. And I'm like, you're going to do these during this 30-minute time block. This is your only window. If you do it outside this time block, that's great. But in order for you to get credit for it, you have to do it in this window so I can see you do it. And this is for a period of time with him. After he's done it for at least a quarter consistently, then he can do it on his own. Or maybe we keep doing it to second quarter. We'll see. But dedicating a specific amount of time to do a task until it's done or to make progress towards a task. It's better to do it until it's done than it is to make progress towards it. Checklist and to-do list. For some people, they do not like creating a schedule around time blocks and all that other stuff. They feel like that's too rigid and I don't want to create a schedule. Then maybe a checklist is for you. A checklist or a to-do list is something that you can see that you're visually making progress because you're checking stuff off. You have a sense of accomplishment when you get it done. It helps you to maintain momentum. So maybe you have a checklist of things that you need to get done for yourself, for your kids, for your family, for your business every single day. Maybe there's 10 things on the checklist for the kids and 10 things on the checklist for the business. Once you do those 10 things, you're done, shut down for the day and go back to, whatever you need to do. Fix dinner, go pick up the kids from school, whatever. Okay. So a checklist can help also minimize rework. I hate rework. I don't want to have to go back and look at something again. So it can also improve your productivity and your organization. So having a checklist of things that you need to do. So what are the routine things or the things that are a priority? If you need to turn it into a checklist, it's a goal, then turn it into a checklist so that way you can make sure it gets done. So your life might be all about checklists. The other thing is having a habit tracker. For those things that you feel like I am not doing consistently, I really need to put this on autopilot. It really needs to be a habit that I do all the time. So habit trackers are mainly designed to help you either build a new habit or break or stop a bad one. If one of your bad habits is doom scrolling on social media, then maybe on your habit tracker, you indicate that you want to, I don't know, no doom scrolling. Like you have 1 hour a day to doom scroll, or maybe 30 minutes a day to doom scroll, whatever it happens to be. Figure out how you want to use that to your advantage. No YouTube after 7 p.m., no whatever this habit is that you need to break. So when you achieve the goal, you sort of indirectly, you check it off. You mark it that you actually were able to either do it or not do it, whatever that happens to be. But it helps you develop consistency. And that is one of the things that I see in the e-commerce space where people are not making money is because they're extremely inconsistent in their business. If you get consistent, then you will start to notice your results. You will start to hopefully notice your results. You'll notice what is and is not selling. You'll notice when you do or don't meet your goals, your margins, you're not making any money on this. You'll make improvements in your daily operations because you're being consistent. Those people that have been doing e-commerce for a long time and that are profitable, the reason that they are is because they were extremely consistent in their business. Extremely consistent. And those people that are successful in making money online, they're extremely consistent. They have systems in place, or they put processes in place, automation in place to be able to get things done. So a habit tracker can help you to do that. So what I want to encourage you to do, here's some examples of checklists and habit trackers and all this other stuff so that you can create them any kind of way that you want. Figure out a way that works best for you. One of the documents that I told you to download yesterday or in part 1 of the session was it has actually checklists at the end of it. It's the 4th quarter document that I said to go download. It actually has checklists at the end. So you can go through and use it, copy it, make as many copies as you want to, write on it, do whatever you want to it so that you can create your own checklist process. But these are just examples. Some people have checklists already for their kids, for chores. You just need to create one for yourself. And then examples of habit trackers. So I have a free gift for you. If you're listening to the replay, I'm sorry, it will not be available to you. That's the reason why I encourage you to come live. But in any case, if you're here right now, I have a free habit tracker. It is a spreadsheet that you can use. So let me go and grab the habit tracker for you. Forget where I put it. Okay, so I'll go back to it in just a second. Go back to the slides in just a second. So this is the habit tracker. When you actually pull it up, the first thing you want to do is you want to make a copy of it. So you're going to go to File and you're going to click on Make a Copy. You're going to put it in your Google Drive, okay? So you're going to make a copy of it. Step 2, you want to outline the habits that you want to track. Maybe you're not drinking enough water every single day. So you want to make sure that you're drinking 8 glasses of water, okay? Or you want to make sure that you're walking 30 minutes every single day. You come in here and you type into these blocks. You can type from beginning to all the way down to here. You can type up to 22 habits that you want to track and make progress towards. So maybe you write down 5 that are personal, 5 that are financial, 5 that are family, and 5 that are business. Okay, maybe that's what you do. You can decide how you want to split it up. It's your call at the end of the day. Okay, when you are able to get a habit done for the day, it actually gives you an image, and we'll look at those in just a second. So once you have written out the habits, first you have to create your list, Right now, you're supposed to be taking notes. So hopefully you're starting to write down things that you want to work on. Just doing a brain dump. You can organize the brain dump as you go along. And then if there are things that you feel like I need to create a habit tracker because I'm not consistent about this thing right here, then you can put it on the habit tracker. Once you have established your goals, your habits that you want to track, which is right through here, and some of them can actually be goals, okay? Some of them can be goals. So if it's something you're doing every single day. So you're filling in through here, then you're going to go and click on the habit tracker at the bottom of the page. Once you go to the habit tracker at the end of the page, I'm just going to show you what this looks like. There's formulas that are already in this spreadsheet, okay? So as I uncheck, I want you to notice when I'm making progress, there's little faces. So if I go through whatever I established, by default, they're going to show up right here. There's additional places right in the middle, okay? They're hidden right now. So you can go and unhide these rows if you added up to 25 or up to 22, sorry. And so you can unhide, show. Oops. Hold on. I got to unhide. That's what happens when you don't know what you're doing sometimes. I may just have to double click on it. I'm not seeing it fast enough. There is an unhide somewhere. All right. All right. I don't see it fast enough, so I'm just going to do this. There we go. So I unhid it, and then you'll see that whatever you named on this tab, if I put in gibberish here, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, I'm just putting some stuff. Okay. When I go back to the habit tracker, it shows up. And it's just going to keep going until you get to 22. So if you have 22, you're going to fill in these blocks here. So I'm going to put, I don't know, I'm just going to write some stuff. Brush teeth, wash hair, schedule, social media. Okay. Just writing some stuff. The more I write in this block, they're going to show up over here. And these are things that I can track every single day. I can track that I actually did it. Here is the calendar over to the side. Starts with Monday, goes to Sunday. And you have January 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to the 31st. Okay. And as you are making progress towards the thing, you will see what your progress percentage is. So what is my progress percentage? Well, on the first one, I'm at 50%. On the second one, I'm at 44%. So again, just going down the list as I work to make progress. I don't have anything there. You're just checking off what you get done. And the more you get done, the better your emojis are. So you can indicate right now it says after 5 habits, I get a rocket. After 6 habits, I'm on fire. Okay. So it shows up as I am on fire. So this is yours to go make a copy and to use it to establish your goals for your habits for 2025. Okay. So you can establish your goals for 2025. You can see whether or not you're on a streak, you're doing well, or no, I am not on a streak and I'm really not doing so hot. Going back to, let me undo all of this. Just going to undo it because there we go. I'm undoing it because of the fact that I had too much stuff in there. But anyway, you can come in here and put whatever you want and whatever you want to track. So these are all examples. You can uncheck all of these and the little emojis will go away and you're set up for 1-1 to start using this. It does start on a Monday, ends on a Sunday. But outside of that, it's ready to go. So go and download that. Use it to help you to keep going on your journey to being more consistent in your personal life, being more consistent in your business. Go download the habit tracker right now and start modifying it to help you. Okay. So I hope that you all enjoy that. So, and then when you fill it in, you'll see like, here's some examples of what it might look like as you fill it in. When you're consistent, then again, these are things that should be moving the needle in your business. Okay. All right. So with that, we got the habit tracker. You go to swiy.co/2025 habit tracker, swiy.co/2025 habit tracker. So the next thing is, now that we've talked about some of the goals and we talked about some of the habits we want to build and the fact that we need to make sure that the habits are something that is measurable, that it's realistic, that there's, something that is time bound. We have a duration in which we're monitoring it to see what progress we're making. We're coming back and we're analyzing to see what our results are. We have to make time to be able to execute all these things. So I said at the beginning, I'm going to do 2 hours every single day to create listings. That was my example that I gave. That's not my real schedule, but anyway, that's an example. So 2 hours every single day or every other day to create listings. Okay, so if I'm working in my business, 2 hours, I have to create a real work schedule based on what's happening in my life. If you're a mom, I'm a single mom. So if your kids are still in school, you still have to incorporate all the other stuff you got to do in your life. If you don't want to create a schedule, then don't create a schedule. If a checklist works better for you, then create a checklist if you don't want to build a schedule. But your goal is to get better at managing your time, figuring out how to reclaim your time back. So why do we need to build a real schedule? So that we can be consistent, so we can build the habits of consistency in our business, so we can grow our business, see some results, get some progress. So build a realistic schedule. It needs to include daily activities. As I said before, if I got to pick up the kids from school, if I got to cook dinner every other day or whatever. So some of the things that I did early on to save my life, because I was tired of being in the kitchen all the time, is I was like, okay, Saturdays, if we go to church on Saturday evening, Saturday after church, we are cooking dinner for the week. I'm not going to be in the kitchen every single day. You need to be able to go in there, heat something up, and I don't need to be in the kitchen every single day. So since I don't want to be in the kitchen every day, we're all cooking together as a family on Saturday evening. And if we have to wrap up on Sunday, that's fine. And I would cook normally 3 different meals. They can pick what they want to eat, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I didn't have to cook on Sundays if I could help it. Sometimes Saturday got moved to Sunday, depending on what was happening, especially when my son was in track and also in football. But that was the plan. So what are the daily activities? Well, I said I was committing in the example I provided before, 2 hours every single day to work in my business. When am I working in my business? Well, my objective would be to work in my business my most productive time of the day. So the most productive time of the day for me is 6 o'clock in the morning after I've I've gotten up. Maybe it's closer to 6:15 than 6 o'clock. But 6:15 to 8:15, work in the business. So that would be, in the example I gave, the time that I would be creating the listings, the times when I would be going to check shipments, the times that I would be whatever it is I've got to do. So if I'm spending 2 hours just on listings, then I got to have at least another hour, maybe 2, to check, send shipments, to update existing listings, run listings through Pingler or Ping Farm, create images, do update titles, whatever it happens to be. So in the example I was talking about, just doing creating new listings for 2 hours, I will have to work in my business overall more than 2 hours. I will have to work in my business somewhere between 3 to 4 hours every single day, just because I'm committing 2 hours to just creating listings. By default, having 100 listings per day, my sell-through rate over time will go higher. And my sell-through rate is how quickly are the things that I'm listing turning? How quickly are the things that I'm listing selling? And so if my sell-through rate gets to 100%, where I'm creating 100 new listings and I'm selling 100 items per week, then that means I got to ship that much more. So my sell-through rate is important in this equation. My sell-through rate from the beginning is going to be low because I'm just getting started. But over time, as I'm being more consistent, my sell-through rate should get better over time. So in my first month, my sell-through rate might be low. Second month should be much higher. Third month, I should have a really pretty good sell-through rate. In a 90-day window, you should be selling more if you're being consistent. If you're not being consistent, you're going to get random results. That's a fact. Okay. So by the 6-month period, I really should have a strong sell-through rate. I should know what my stuff is selling no matter what in a 6-month window. So the only way I can do that is that I got to have a schedule that I'm following every single day. And then also, what are my weekly objectives? What do I want to accomplish in a week? If I want to create 100 new listings in a week, what are the daily activities I have to do to get there? And then what are my goals for the month? So in the example I provided, 400 listings a month means 100 listings per week, which means 20 listings per day, 5 days a week. So again, putting together a schedule around that to make time, committed time to that. You should build a new schedule every single month, and you should use time management hacks or tools to help you with focus. Having committed, dedicated time, that's uninterrupted time, not distracted time, that's where we all have challenges. So creating listings in my most productive time of the day, that's one way to solve that problem. Setting a timer. I have a kitchen timer on my desk right now. I actually have 2 of them. And so you can buy those at the Dollar Tree for $1.25 now. If you have an office door, putting a sign on the door that says work in progress or working or whatever, so your kids or your spouse or your significant other can respect that and say this is their work time. This is their make money time. This is when mommy's in there making money. Maybe you have to leave. Maybe you have to go and work. I have a library card for the Frisco Library, and I have a library card for Collin College. So I can go and work at the libraries in either one of those in my business and not be interrupted by anybody in the house. You can get an accountability partner. So any of these things, you can get an app that can help you to be able to focus. So you turn off all of your social media notifications during that window in which you're focused on working in your business. All of these things can help you. If you're one of those people that you're not disciplined enough to be able to work on your own, then again, maybe you get yourself a fake time clock, clock in and clock out. And you say, okay, during this time, I'm getting paid, I don't know, $50 an hour or $25 an hour, whatever psychologically helps you to get there. At that point, it's about mindset, because you have to get the discipline in place, and using the habit tracker will help you to build that discipline. Okay. So as part of building that schedule, the majority of your time should be going towards the income producing activities, the things that are going to make you do the most money. Listing is your biggest income producing activity, bar none. Okay. Doing product research is extremely important, but you don't make any money if you don't create a listing. Okay. Sourcing products, buying products can turn out to be an income producing activity if the item is listed and if the thing sells. If it doesn't sell, that's just money sitting somewhere in your house that you can't do anything with. You can't do anything with any of it until it sells. Or if you're selling online, meaning you have no inventory in your house whatsoever, then again, what are the income producing activities that you need to engage into in order to make money? So when you build your schedule, the majority of your time needs to be focused on your income producing activities. The other things matter a lot. Product research matters. There's tools to help you to do product research faster. Sourcing matters. There's all kinds of ways in which you can source faster. So do the thing that's going to make you the most money. Selling something that is listed is the fastest way to make money. But figure out what your time is going to be. When are you going to commit that time to do that work, and build a schedule around that? Make sure that it's distraction-free time, and you're working to build the discipline. The habit tracker will help you to build the discipline, because you're checking off whether or not you get those things done. Okay. So here's an example of a schedule. I built it in Google Calendar, and I've always loved Google Calendar. The one thing about Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you some examples real quick in Google Calendar, is this is a blank calendar. When you come over here, there's notes that you can establish, and they will stay right here. So these are all tools within Google Calendar that you can use. You can also use the create task. You can create task, and you can create checklist within Google Calendar. So I can go ahead and create a task by just, I don't know, adding some gibberish here. And I can indicate when it's due. So I can say it's due on the 31st. And I can put done, and it will have a notification that pops up that says that it's due on that date. I can create in addition to creating a task, I can create a list. So maybe I have a bunch of tasks around instead of it being my task. Let's say I'm going to have eCom business, and that's what the name of it is now. And then I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to create a new list that's called Achieve Digital Marketing Business. Okay. So I can click on the drop down and say, what are my tasks that I need to do for Achieve Digital Marketing, and what are the tasks that I need to do for my eCom business. Okay. And I can add as many tasks as I need to, as I want to. Just keep adding. You can say when it's due. You can say whether or not it's complete. If it's complete, you can just mark it off and it goes away. So I love that about the Google Calendar. And so if you don't want to use the Google spreadsheet, don't use it. You can use a Google Calendar. The other thing is you can create additional calendars. So if I want to add a new calendar, I can create a brand new calendar. That's called my productivity calendar. So the first thing I did, let me just cancel this for just a second, was in Google Calendar, I clicked on plus and I clicked on create a new calendar. Once I clicked on create a new calendar, I go to productivity. And I've been doing this for so long that I might skip some steps because I do it so often. And I click on create calendar. You indicate your time zone. You can say what it's for. You can also indicate now the calendar creation is in progress. Now I'm going to go configure it. At the bottom, I clicked on configure. Once I'm in here, I can come in here. It's attached to a specific email account, which we saw earlier. I can invite other people and give them access to the calendar. I can share a link to this calendar. I can, so if I want to invite someone else, let's say I want to invite my business partner, I could come here, type in my business partner's email address, click on the drop down, and I can say that they have access to make changes, or they can, make changes or share it with other people. I can make the calendar public if I wanted to make it public so I can access it from other ones. There's all kinds of stuff that I can do, but those are the main things that I normally do, is either grant people access to it. Once the calendar exists, when I come over here, you'll see the productivity calendar is here. So if I uncheck all these other calendars, now I can begin the process of working on my business calendar. So I can go up here and I can say, okay, from 6:15. So this is create new listings or create listings. Just gonna make it big. Okay, and I can say that I'm doing that every single day from 6:15 to 8:15. Okay, that's what I'm doing. And I say that it repeats, so I can click on the drop down for do not repeat, and I can click on the radio buttons and say it's Monday through Friday, and I click done. I can set up a notification reminder. That's what I'm supposed to be doing by coming in here and doing a 10-minute reminder before I'm supposed to start this. And I can also choose a specific color. So if I know that creating listings psychologically, if I think, oh, okay, it's making money, so I can go ahead and make it green. I'll go ahead and hit save. Then now I have that task on my calendar every single day to make money. Okay. And then I can do the next task, which might be ship items. And then the next task might be, do product research or whatever the case. I could do product research Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if I do product research, and I can say that's from 8:15 until 9:15. And I'm going to do that custom Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week. And I am going to change that to, I don't know, purple. And I do a 10-minute reminder. Okay. And that's on the productivity calendar. And then maybe I am sourcing products. This is where I'm buying products. I'm ordering it. I'm having it shipped in to me. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on the drop down, do custom, and I'm going to do that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Okay. Or maybe I'm just doing that Tuesday, Thursday, and I'm not doing it Saturday. There you go. Okay. So I can choose a different color for that task. Maybe I make it blue. I'm keeping it on the productivity calendar, so it's not on my regular calendar. Now I'm starting to build out, what am I focused on? What am I doing? What are the activities I'm engaged in? And I can continue to build this out. Okay. So just giving you some, I don't know why that says Saturday, but anyway. All right. So that sort of gives you some insight into how to sort of build this calendar out. And if you don't want it to show up on your regular calendar, you can uncheck it because you created it. And this is, and I can recheck Nicole Whitlock, and this is my regular calendar. It just completely disappears. Nobody can see it. I can't see it. And if I wanted to see it, I can click on the productivity and now it appears. So that way you don't feel overwhelmed that your calendar is completely cluttered and you got a bunch of stuff on it. So that's how you control what you can see, what you can't see, when it displays, when it doesn't display. If you want to keep all your business activities, so I have a different calendar for eCom sellers, for my e-commerce business, and for Achieve Digital Marketing. So I have 3 different calendars, and I sort of overlap them to see where I have things that I need to be doing for each one of them individually. Okay. So that's how you create that calendar. Google Calendar is great for that. The other thing that you can do is we do have the eCom Planner. So eCom Planner has a habit tracker in it, and it also has a place for you to track your calendar. Both of those are in there. So the one thing I do want to encourage you to do is when you do start making progress in your business, when you start checking off and achieving some of your goals, make sure you celebrate. Make sure that you are rewarding yourself. Like after you get to your 400 listings in a month, make sure you do something for yourself. You know, I don't know what it is, what you want to do, but do something when you celebrate major milestones. So when you make progress, do that, okay, for yourself, because, you know, you'll appreciate it, and it's motivation in some cases. Make sure it's something amazing. So your next steps, I covered a lot of different things. The first thing is you need to build a schedule to accommodate your goals, okay? Take into account each established routine that you're trying to build, any new goals, any upcoming events when you're building this schedule. And you need to build a baseline schedule, which I refer to, I always say I have a baseline schedule and then I have a seasonal schedule. So what is the schedule I follow during Q4? And what's the schedule I follow the rest of the year? Okay, so have a baseline schedule that is, you know, somewhat flexible, but also allows you opportunity to achieve what you need to, and then something that you adjust for when you get to a specific time period. Okay. Or like when you go on vacation, here's my vacation schedule. My vacation schedule is completely different. My pre-vacation and post-vacation schedule might be completely different than my baseline schedule. Okay. Because we always work a little bit more before we leave, and we work a little bit more when we get back. That's the one thing about vacation. Sometimes it's not worth going. So build a schedule. And that was on your list of things that we've already talked about. The next thing is write out your goals. Make sure that you establish your weekly, your monthly, or quarterly goals, also your annual goals. So building out your 2025 schedule or your goals, and then backing into which one of these 2025 goals are going to go in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, which one's going into all of them. It's going to be a year-round thing. What are things that I'm going to focus on each month to help me to achieve my annual goals? And what are the activities I'm going to engage in each week to help me to achieve my monthly goals? Okay, so write them out, your business and your personal. Review your weekly goals. That's where a lot of people don't make a lot of progress in the goals that they establish because they're not going back and revisiting them. What kind of progress are you making? What progress are you not making? What do you carry over to next month? What do you need to revisit because it doesn't make sense anymore? All of that, so you can measure that progress. Monitor your progress every single week and every single month, so that way you can see whether or not you are making progress towards those goals. And make sure the goals are always realistic. We said that before. So you're tracking your results, making sure you're noting lessons learned. The reason why this month was a failure was because, or maybe it wasn't a failure. It just didn't work out because you had 3 extra emergencies you weren't prepared for. Okay. Can't deal with emergencies you're not prepared for. So just being prepared for that, and make adjustments to your schedule as needed. If your mom is going in for open heart surgery and you know you're going to have to travel to go take care of her for 3 months, you know, Add an extra fourth month in there because sometimes nobody knows what the recovery period is going to be. We thought it was going to be 3, it ended up being 6, then you're like, oh, okay. So make adjustments to your schedule to accommodate that. And then also figure out how can I still be productive while I'm there. And then if possible, get yourself an accountability partner. Touch base with that person either bi-weekly or monthly or even weekly if it makes sense. Share your goals with them. When you get together with them, this is not a social event. It's just the facts, Jack, just the facts. So I would tell you, this is where me and my business partner always fail because we always talk about a bunch of other stuff and then we get to what we're supposed to be working on. And so we have to flip the script in 2025 where we focus on the main thing at the beginning of the conversation. We get to spend 10 minutes going through the facts and status updates and all that other stuff. And then maybe we have 20 minutes to talk about all kinds of other stuff. And then we cut it off and go back to work. That's one of the things that we have to work on because we're not consistent about that at all. So if you do all of the stuff that I suggested, everything that I talked about from your setting your goals and making sure the goals are attainable and realistic and they're measured, then you will see progress in your business. You will start to see the needle move. You will start to get results that you're like, oh my God, I never thought this would work. I'm telling you, it will work if you do it. It does require discipline. And using a habit tracker might help you build some of that discipline, some of that routine. Because the goal is to win. To win. So with that, a couple of quick things in your business, whether it's e-commerce or any other business, some things you need to remember for 2025 of the BOI, which is, I forget, the business something information. Oh my God, forget what the O is back on, if I understand correctly. If you have an EIN, you need to fill out this form. You go to the Treasury Department to submit the form. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete it, 20 minutes maybe to complete it. But if you have an EIN or if you've ever had an EIN, you need to fill that out so you don't get fined by the federal government in 2025. I'll just tell you that first. Next is, I've used this in the past. I had not been consistent. I'm just going to be honest in the last year or two with this hack, but it is a hack that works. So I feel like, okay, let me go back to what I know works. Okay. One of the people who used to do my taxes, she passed away. She passed away at the end of 2023. Such a sweet lady. And she was in the e-commerce space. So kind of hard. But anyway, create an alternate email account so that you can send you can use that for your accountant to log into or whoever's doing your taxes, or for you to go back and use as a reference for everything that you've done. So that way, if you ever get audited by the IRS, you can just give them that email account and they can use that to go and check everything. So download all your bank statements and send it to that email account. So like NicoleTax@gmail.com. Forward all of your bank card statements that have to do with the business to that email account. Any receipts or invoices that you get from your wholesale suppliers, your vendors, anything that you buy. If you're buying something, doing retail arbitrage, take a picture of the receipt while you're there and email the copy of the receipt to NicoleTax@gmail.com and keep that all together so that way you can reconcile. And it makes it easier for you to do your accounting and taxes. Make sure that you remember all the stuff that you can write off and keep mileage and keep track of that. There's different apps to help you to keep track of your mileage. There's different things that you can do in your own bank accounts to categorize purchases. Make sure you're forwarding all invoices and purchase orders and all that other stuff to that Nicole Tax, but keep all of that stuff. And if you have VAs working for you, again, keep information about that and the payment of those VAs out of that business account. If you haven't ever set up a separate business account, you need to make sure you do that in 2025. Separate your personal from your business so you don't get yourself in trouble. If you don't have business insurance, depending on whatever type, you should have some business insurance anyway, but depending on the type of business, you may or may not need more or less insurance, but you should have business insurance, especially if you're selling on Amazon and Walmart, just to keep yourself safe. And if you're selling on the other platforms too. You should build yourself a budget. You can use software for that. You can use sheets for that. If you attend our Monday session, there is a spreadsheet that I'm giving that already has formulas already built into it for a personal budget and also for a business budget. And so all you have to do is just plug in your own personal numbers and the formulas, it just calculates everything for you. But, and that's the Monday session if you go to that. But If you don't have a spreadsheet, like see what your bank offers. Sometimes your banks will offer different things around budgeting. You can just check with them. If you work for a company and they have an EAP program, you might check with them to see what they offer around financial guidance and support. And sometimes the financial advisor they send you to may actually have some budgeting tools that they recommend. There's just budgeting tools. You can just Google some budgeting tools, okay? Review your annual subscriptions and your monthly subscriptions. Decide what you're going to keep or cancel for 2025. And also make sure you're reconciling your own banking information and your business information. If you get the 2025 eCom planner, we have a whole place where you can keep track of expenses and income. Reconcile your expenses regularly. So a scheduled follow will help you gain consistency. Consistency will help you develop the habits that you need to be successful. Habits will help you build momentum in your business. And that is what matters. You need to build momentum in your business, regardless of what business you're doing. Whether you're running an agency or you're doing e-commerce, you really need to have some consistency, build those habits. So focus, mindset, time management, and consistencies, and consistency are the keys to winning. They are definitely the keys to winning. So with that, it's time to build the habit of consistency. Get the eCom planner. You can go to myecomplanner.com right now to grab the 2025 eCom planner. If you don't know how to contact me, you can definitely schedule a free coaching session by going to bit.ly/free ecom sellers coaching. Again, bit.ly/free ecom sellers coaching. You can go there. You can also email me at nicole@ecomsellersummit.com. You can also email me at nicole@ecomsellers.com. I don't know why that one's not there. And you can check out our websites. We have 2 websites. So let's talk about re-energizing your business. We went through the reset. We went through refocus. We're going to talk about re-energizing the business. Before we get into re-energizing, just a quick recap. 2025, 2024, complete your year-end review, analyze how you think that you did and what are the things you need to do differently, and how you need to think differently, move differently for 2025. Document all of your whys and whats. What happened in 2025? Why do you think it happened? 2025, 2024. What happened in 2024? Why do you think it happened? What are you going to do differently potentially in 2025? I would suggest you do the DISC and the Strength Finders assessments when you get an opportunity. Write down your vision for your business for 2025. Also, do a vision board. You should do it for 2025 and beyond. Do a 5-month, 3-month plan, or 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 7-year plan, 10-year plan. Write out your 14 realities. I was like, okay, I said, this is dream versus reality. So you can go back and listen to that from session 1. This is what you think it is, and this is the reality. So what is your true reality? I think that you should create a business plan, especially if you plan on scaling your business in 2025. Develop your strategies and your plans for your business. So we had, I think it was 9, I said 10, but there's 9 of them. For your strategies for your business and for your for yourself for 2025. There were I think those are on the grid, the diagram on the grid. But there's also the strategies for what is your sourcing strategy? What is your product research strategy? What is your listing strategy? What is your shipping strategy? What's your customer service strategy? Again, you can build SOPs so that a VA can take over some of that work for you. You do need to define your goals for 2025. We talked a lot about goals. So go back and listen to that replay and then build a schedule. Time management is extremely important. Test out a schedule. You may have to tweak it. Try it for 1 month, tweak it, try it for another month, tweak it again, and hopefully you will get it to where it's fine-tuned and it's something that's workable and realistic. We talked about a couple of different tax tips and financial tips. Again, make sure you get some insurance. And remember, at the end of the day, be intentional with your time, money, and resources. That's what matters. So this was one of the diagrams that I talked about, setting intentional goals. Think about what you're going to do first, second, third, fourth quarter. Everything that you do builds on the other. Okay. So think of strategically, what do you want the end of the year to look like for you? And maybe back into that. What am I doing in first quarter to get to fourth quarter? What am I doing in second quarter to get to fourth quarter? What am I doing in third quarter to get to fourth quarter? And what am I doing in fourth quarter to make it wonderful? The last thing that I do want to say about goal setting before we get into this next phase, which is there's a lot of things that people do that cause them not to make any progress in their business whatsoever. I have talked to and coached and worked with so many people where they just refuse to take any type of action because I don't know enough information. Okay, this is crazy. I love my brother. I'm just gonna throw him under the bus. I love you, David. Um, he will research the crap out of something. And I'm like, you've been researching this for 7 years. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. You have wasted 7 years of your life that you will never get back. I don't know how many hours per day, but for 7 years, those are hours you will never get back. Sometimes you just need to rip the Band-Aid off and jump in because the water is eventually going to be fine. Whatever you decide to do when it comes to your life and to your business, nothing will be perfect, period. We all failed forward right after we were born. We had trouble feeding ourselves. We had trouble dressing ourselves. We had trouble going to school, meaning we were not perfect in every single area of math and English and arts and social studies. Like there were things we were good at and other things we were not so good at. It's all part of living. And this journey of improving what you want to in your life now for 2025 and also improving your business, you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be things that will be lessons learned. Sometimes the lessons are bigger for some things and smaller for others, but you will learn from them and you will move forward. You can't research everything to death before you take the first step. You can't know all the answers for everything before you take the first step, and you can't operate 100% in fear and doubt. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. If you're one of those people that it takes you forever to get started on anything, then this may not be for you. I'm just saying. Sometimes you just need to start. It will not be perfect. You can do some research and you are going to make mistakes. You will have to learn to forgive yourself. When you first, graduated from high school, I'm sure it wasn't perfect when you went out on your first job interview. Since then, you've probably had about 20, 30, maybe 100 job interviews, and you've gotten better over time. Or maybe you've gotten worse. I don't know. Since then, you've probably learned how to pay bills on your own. You probably made some mistakes at the beginning, but you got over it, and now you know how to pay bills. Okay? You learned how to drive. When you first started, you were horrible at it, but over time, with repetition, you got better at it. The point that I'm trying to make is that I do want you to move forward in your e-commerce business or whatever business you decide to establish. And I want you to move forward in your goals for 2025. Establishing goals, your first pass at establishing goals is not going to be perfect. Your second pass, you'll come back, you'll look at it again. It's not going to be perfect. It might be your third pass before you feel like this is an executable plan. But don't be into April or May still working on your 2025 goals. Just don't do that. Try to say, you know what? The cutoff is January the 8th. Everything after that, I'm just going to keep moving forward and making adjustments as I go along. I'm going to start executing a plan no matter what. So just start, just do it. Find a way to figure out how to move forward, not continue to have excuses on why you haven't started. Okay? I have nothing. I've researched everything and I have nothing. Okay? And that's because you're doing too much research and you're not doing enough action. Okay? So with that, we do have, again, the 2025 eCom Planner. If you want to plan it, source it, list it, profit, we give you some guidance on how to do that. You can go to myecomplanner.com. So let's go. Growing your business. The goal, we're just going to talk about this and then we're going to wrap up. We're talking about growing our business and scaling our business in 2025. The goal of growing your business is going to be centered around not a specific metric, but things that you can do. Maybe there's going to be things in your business. When it comes to scaling, there's going to be things you can do to just scale it up, meaning maybe if I switch from manually listing to using a tool to list, that allows me to list faster and I can list more, so that's scaling. Maybe if I move from, I don't know, manually sharing my listings on different platforms to using a tool to share them on the different platforms. It will go faster. Things that you can do to streamline and simplify your life. Similar to expanding your business. So maybe right now you're doing retail arbitrage and you want to get into drop shipping and maybe create your own store. Okay, so that's growing your business. You're going to have to invest a little bit of money in order to be able to do that. Okay, where scaling the business, it may involve a little bit of money, but it may also just require you to make some adjustments to what you're already doing. So several different ways in which you can grow your business. You can get into affiliate marketing. You can start selling internationally. Maybe you're not doing that right now. Maybe you can use omnichannel to help with marketing, post on social media, publish blogs, ramp up your customer service, all of those. Try something new. Okay. That's ways you can grow your business. Scaling your business, you may re-engineer some of your business processes to make them more streamlined, more efficient. That's going to be one thing. Do better at your planning. Planning for your fourth quarter success starts in first quarter. Okay. It really does. So planning for your fourth quarter success, planning in advance. Outsourcing some of your stuff, maybe hiring a VA to do some of your work, or outsourcing to a tool, or outsourcing to a service provider of some type. Consider maybe getting into bundling and doing bundling wholesale. All of these are ways in which you can scale your business. If you decide you want to start with the VA, the first thing I would do is figure out which business processes you want to hand over to a VA, and you need to make sure you have a standard operating procedure for that. What I do is I create a document that has the action steps that they need to take. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. And then I record a Loom video executing, reading the SOP document and executing the steps so they can see it in action. And I give them the document, I have them watch the video, I make them go through it twice, and then I have them do that work on their own just to see if they're able to follow. If they're not able to follow, if there's holes in my SOP, then if they come back with 90,000 questions, then I know I need to enhance or improve my SOP. I may need to re-record my Loom video. But again, it will only get better over time the more often you do it. But I would definitely consider maybe hiring a VA to help do some of the work. What can a VA do for you? They can do product research. They can create listings. They can create print-on-demand designs for you. They can help you build a website. They can handle any of the customer service and respond to questions from people. So again, these are all things that a VA can do for you. You can also consider outsourcing to a fulfillment center if you are a person that's handling the shipments yourself and you want to buy back that time. So you want to buy back that time so you're not shipping yourself. You can send all of the inventory you have in your house to a fulfillment center, let them fulfill it. Again, no fulfillment center is going to be perfect. Repeat, no fulfillment center is going to be perfect, including Amazon. No matter who you outsource it to, whether it's a mom and pop or whether it's a big chain, there's going to be mistakes that will happen. Question is, how do they handle those mistakes? So you want to be prepared to deal with that. So I would figure out, what's the location of the fulfillment center that you're thinking about going with? What services do they offer? And what's the cost of that? What's their promised turnaround time? And what is their turnaround time during Q4? Okay. Are they sales tax free? In other words, if they're in Texas or they're in Tennessee, I'm trying to think of all the sales tax free states. But, what is the sales and what is, now I will tell you this, like in Texas, there are certain services you still have to pay sales tax on. So just, you want to find out on goods. So there's some research you need to know about where that fulfillment center is and what are the rules around taxation. What additional supplies or services do they offer? Can they handle pallets, especially if you're buying liquidation pallets and things like that? How do they handle invoicing and how often do they keep those on file? The other thing is pricing for discounts. What are they giving you? How long will they hold your products before they start charging you long-term storage fees? Do they have limitations or exemptions like, oh, okay, we don't take hazmat things. So again, and how do they handle returns? These are all things you want to ask. So make sure that you're asking those questions. If you decide this is the year 2025 that you're going to hand everything over to a fulfillment center so you can buy back the time and not have to ship stuff yourself. The other thing is marketing your stuff, your products that you're selling, or maybe it's services. Maybe you're going to do an agency. I don't know. So if you're selling products, what are the ways in which you can market your products? I will tell you, and I think I'm just going to have a completely separate session about some of the latest information on running ads with Amazon campaigns or promotions, doing promotions with any of the other platforms, with Google ads and Facebook and Instagram ads, and what the impact of AI has been on that, and how things used to go and how they're going now is going to be completely different for 2025. So I'll offer a completely separate session. But that doesn't mean that you can't do things to organically drive traffic to your own listings. Sharing them on social media is one way. Getting into YouTube videos and doing YouTube shorts can also help you. Working with micro influencers, even if you have to pay a little bit of change to them to help promote your products, especially if you're selling specific products, all of those things are going to help you to sort of re-energize and scale your business in 2025. And then there's some other things that you can do to get some year-round success. One, find some steady eddies. These are things that people buy no matter what. They buy them all the time, or they buy them year-round, regardless of season, regardless of holiday. Okay, so those are steady eddies. Replenishables and consumables. If you can sell consumables on different platforms, those are things that people eat, then that's great as well. That's another reason why you need to have insurance, because if somebody has an allergic reaction to something you sold, you want to be prepared for that. And replenishables. Once something is used up, you have to buy more of it because it's completely out of stock. You might also, for 2025, think about creating bundles or doing a subscription. If you do a curated subscription service, again, you're going to have to work on building your audience. That may require you to have some presence on Instagram and also TikTok, and if it's still around, and YouTube Shorts, so that people can find your product and buy it from you depending on what it is. But just remember, it needs to be a product that is in demand and or in need. It solves a problem and it provides a solution. Other things that you can do to continue to have sales year round, again, focused on holidays. There's always a holiday somewhere, and especially international holidays. Sports related stuff, national related stuff. Again, you can sell for those things. And if there is like a national, like Breast Cancer Awareness Month or Black History Month or Autism Awareness or whatever week it happens to be, those are all things that matter, like Go Red for Women Week or something like that. It's in February. The seasons, again, selling products that are focused on the seasons, selling products that may be related to upcoming movies, awards, or moments that are in the news. Moments in the news are the spontaneous things that you need to like be able to source quickly and get that listing up today in order to take advantage of that. Okay. So we have transform your business, transform your life with the 2025 My eCom Planner. So your tips for success in 2025, outside of the recap that we did earlier, make sure that you review and analyze your 2024 data. We already talked about that. Make sure you have a strong why, work on your mental toughness and your ability to, your mindset and your ability to bounce back, because you're going to have setbacks. That's just part of this journey. Develop your plan and strategy for each one of your months and establish your daily, weekly, and monthly goals and stats that you're going to be tracking and monitoring to make sure that you're making progress towards your goals. Get organized, build yourself a schedule, get focused, stay focused, be consistent, laser focused. So whatever distractions you have right now that are sucking up all your time like a vampire, figure that out and do something about it. Don't wait to do something about it. Do something now. Okay. Be a student. Always be prepared to level up, to learn something new, especially right now with AI. Everything is changing so quickly. So learning some of those tools that are going to help you get a leg up on the competition, you definitely want to do that. Be patient, allow yourself some grace. Some of the things that you want to sell may not sell right now. It may take a couple of different strategies to get rid of that inventory, and be persistent. Okay. So with that, I think we are done. Be intentional with your time, money, and resources. The schedule followed will help you build consistency. Yep, that's it. I think we're done. So I hope this is helpful. Let me stop sharing, stop presenting. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to stop the recording.